Looks like the NBA champions, Houston, might get a chance to go all the way. At least they got through the first hurdle, Kurt.
Yeah, one down and 3 to go, really. And Phoenix is going to be difficult. And a lot of people didn't think that they'd survive Utah. However, they did. The Houston Rockets outlasted the Utah Jazz in Game 5 of their opening round series on Sunday. The Rockets draw Phoenix next. The Jazz have to be wondering about their future. Rudy Tomjanovich knew his Rockets would be in for a struggle. Just under 1 second to go in the first half. Jeff Hornacek lets fly for 3, and the Jazz take a 2-point lead into the locker room. But in the late going, the Rockets go to their big guy. Hakeem Olajuwon gets 2 of his 33 points. Down by 5, Karl Malone hits the desperation 3. The mailman bowing out with 35. The Rockets kept cool. They made their free throws, and the clock wound down on Utah. Houston wins the series in 5, 95-91.
Two teams that's capable of winning the championship. You know, normally teams like this, they're not supposed to make it in the first round. You know, to make it more interesting series. And it's too bad that it's unfortunate that one have to lose, but I'm glad it was them.
For theatrics, it's hard to beat the finish of Game 1 between the Indiana Pacers and New York Knicks. Late fourth quarter, Knicks up by 1. John Starks all alone for the throwdown. Knicks by 6 with 18 seconds to go. The rest hard to believe. Reggie Miller knocks down the three-pointer off the inbounds pass, and suddenly the Pacers are down by 3. Now watch the next inbounds pass. This from Anthony Mason. Miller picks it off, steps behind the arc, and ties the game at 105. Reggie Miller then hit 2 free throws, putting Indiana up by 2. New York's Greg Anthony slips and falls as time runs out. Reggie Miller scoring 31 in a thrilling 107-105 Pacer victory. Meanwhile, Michael Jordan actually cost the Chicago Bulls a victory in their second-round series opener at Orlando. Chicago, through their trio of centers against Shaquille O'Neal, the Shaq still managed 26, including 12 of 16 free throws. Late fourth quarter, Bulls led by 1. Michael Jordan has the ball stripped away by Nick Anderson. Horace Grant slams Orlando by 1 with 6 seconds to go, and that's when Jordan commits his 8th turnover of the ball game, throwing the ball away behind Scottie Pippen. Orlando wins Game 1, 94-91. The NHL Stanley Cup playoffs continued on Sunday. The Sabres and Flyers go to overtime in their series opener. Third period, Buffalo trailed 3-2. They keep the puck alive in the Philly end, allowing Pat LaFontaine to tie the game at 3 with his second goal of the contest. Now we'll move to overtime. The Flyers get the game winner at the 10-minute mark on a knuckling, bouncing shot from Carl Dykhouse. Look at that. What a way to lose. The Flyers beat Buffalo in Game 1, 4-3 in overtime. In Boston, the Bruins ambushed by New Jersey in Game 1 of that series. The Bruins knew it wasn't going to be their day when Stéphane Richet's shot found the net off of Ray Bourque's stick. 5-0 Devils, the final in Game 1. Now the rest of the NHL scoreboard.
In places where people need an air conditioner that lasts a long, long, long time, they know.
Okay, kid, run up and see if anybody's home.
It's hard to stop a train.
Ladies and gentlemen, Vita Nelson is our guest. She's the editor and publisher of the Money Paper. We're talking about dividend reinvestment plans. Vita, how does one actually get started?
All you need is 1 share of stock. You can send from as little as $10 or even $10,000 without paying any commissions to a broker. These are the solid companies. These are the companies that have paid dividends for many, many years, and the reason no one knows about these plans is because no one has any vested interest in promoting them. If you pick from among the 873 different companies in our guide to dividend reinvestment plans, you are doing yourself the biggest favor in the world.
And you might even have fun doing it.
Where can I get some information on the Money Paper?
Well, call now. You'll get the guide to dividend reinvestment plans at a special promotional price. It has every company that accepts direct investments. Plus, you get a free copy of the Money Paper. You'll see how easy it is to invest without a broker.
Call 1-800-294-0700.
Success, no matter how you define it, the ideas that can help you achieve it are in the Wall Street Journal. For you, success might be more business than you've ever dreamed of. There's one source you can count on to help you reach it, the Wall Street Journal. Call now for the Journal and get your free guide to planning your financial future. Facts you need to start planning a secure future right now. Get 10 weeks of the Wall Street Journal for just $38 and get the guide free. Call now toll free, 800-233-7700. That's 800-233-7700.
I didn't want everybody to notice, from being almost completely bald to having a full head of hair.
The ultra-gradual process is a new process which gives you just a little bit of hair at a time, and it sort of removes the fear of doing it all at once.
There's other methods of hair replacement, and Hans Wyman was the best.
We have all types of hair replacement systems. The ultra-gradual is the ultimate in hair replacement systems.
Finally, something to be excited about.
Call Hans Wyman now and find out about our new ultra-gradual process.
I think Kay and Tom are really smart for having that computerized home security system. Kay says it makes her feel so safe. And with all the break-ins lately, it's amazing. The system is continually monitored by a computer. So, if anyone tries to break in, an alarm sounds and the emergency control center sends the police. Kay says it isn't expensive either.
We don't need that.
If you think it can't happen to you, think again. Call Multimedia Security at 530-7130.
On News Channel 5 Team Investigation, Jobs 2000. If you're searching for a better job, you may soon be able to find it in St. Louis. In a News Channel 5 Team Investigation, find out how St. Louis plans to create 100,000 new jobs, how to make yourself more attractive to a potential employer, and learn innovative ways to find your next job. Jobs 2000, tonight at 10 on News Channel 5, where the news comes first.
Hi, I'm Mike Bush. This week, Volunteer 5 is featuring the Fantasy Camp for the Hearing Impaired. This camp allows hearing impaired children to do something they're not always allowed to do, play organized baseball. And the camp is looking for experienced coaches, sign and oral interpreters, and financial sponsors. To lend a helping hand, please call the Volunteer 5 hotline.
Volunteer 5, in partnership with Consolidated Communications Long Distance and Lindenwood College, the leader in success.
It's a spectacular opening as Richard Karn from Home Improvement, Daytime Emmy winner Deidre Hall, and Academy Award winner Lou Gossett Jr. compete for the ultimate challenge.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready.
On Wheel of Fortune's first annual Celebrity Award Winners Week.
Are you all right?
Well, yes, I am.
You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll come back for more on the next Wheel of Fortune.
Can I go home now?
Can I go home now?
Wheel of Fortune, weeknights at 6:30, only on Channel 5.
Weather in St. Louis is constantly changing. Hello, I'm Chief Meteorologist John Fuller. News Channel 5 has teamed up with several schools in St. Louis and the Metro East to form WeatherNet 5. WeatherNet 5 gives students a hands-on opportunity to learn about the weather and gives you instant updates from weather sources across our viewing area. WeatherNet 5, only on News Channel 5, where the news comes first.
Here at News Channel 5, we want to know what you think. I'm Karen Foss. If you have a suggestion or comment about our news or programming, call Talkback 5 at 425-5355 or reach us by email, ksdk5@aol.com. We regret we can't respond personally to each of your calls, but if you call, we'll listen. You may even see your suggestion on the air. Call Talkback 5 and help us make News Channel 5 even better.
Chopper 5, piloted by reporter Alan Bartlett, with 20 years experience patrolling the skies over St. Louis. Chopper 5, bringing you late-breaking news.
Mississippi River floodwaters destroying yet another farmhouse.
Detailed traffic reports.
Now stop the car, and they're dragging the individual out of the car.
And road conditions.
30-car accident, Highway 40 completely shut down.
Chopper 5 with Alan Bartlett, your eye in the sky, only on News Channel 5, where the news comes first.
Welcome back to NBC Nightside. I'm Tom Miller.
I'm Tom Donovan. Ahead in this half hour, coupon clippers who break the law. But first, this morning's headlines. Tom?
Well, Tom, tornadoes ripped through southern Oklahoma Sunday, killing 3 people. At least 5 tornadoes struck near Ardmore, 100 miles south of Oklahoma City. The twisters also caused heavy damage to homes and businesses in the area. And in Amarillo, Texas, a tornado hurled a man 130 feet to his death. A string of powerful storms caused a total of 18 deaths over the weekend in Texas, most of them drowned in floodwaters. Hundreds of people went to the bombed-out federal building in Oklahoma City Sunday to see the damage for themselves. Authorities are now allowing onlookers to get within a block of the building. Crowds gathered in the rain to view the destruction firsthand. A few blocks away, a group of American Indians held a prayer service in memory of those who died in the bombing. At the Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport Sunday, a lone gunman with an assault-type weapon was wounded in a shootout with police. Authorities say 28-year-old David DeMatthew began firing into the air when a guard stopped him from entering a restricted area. DeMatthew allegedly fled from police and fired several rounds at them before he was shot in the hip and in the shoulder. DeMatthew, who reportedly has a history of mental illness, is listed in stable condition. 3 racing fans were killed this weekend in Virginia when a driver lost control of his car. Amateur video shows the car veering off the track into a crowd. Authorities said they found no mechanical problems with the car. The 3 deaths have been ruled accidental, and the local sheriff's department says the driver will not be charged. Police photographer Mike Wilson is expected to take the stand today in the O.J. Simpson murder trial. He's the photographer who took pictures inside Simpson's house the morning after O.J.'s ex-wife Nicole and her friend Ronald Goldman were killed. The defense contends that police framed Simpson. Also expected to testify this week, a DNA expert and a tow truck driver who hauled Simpson's Bronco to a storage yard.
And it's time now for a check on what's making business news this Monday morning. For that, we go to Fort Lee, New Jersey, and CNBC's Susie Guerra. Good morning, Susie.
Good morning, Tom. Good morning, everyone. Well, the U.S. and Japan are moving dangerously close to a trade war. Negotiators for both sides announced late on Friday that they didn't resolve differences over U.S. access to the Japanese auto market. And now the Clinton administration is threatening to impose sanctions on a range of Japanese goods that are shipped to the U.S. Japanese officials say that if that happens, they're going to appeal to the World Trade Organization for help. Well, this week could be a negative one for the dollar. Currency traders will be waiting for any possible trade sanctions against Japan, a step that could shatter the dollar's recent stability. Notions about the job market also shattered last week. The Labor Department reported that the unemployment rate soared to 5.8% in April and that the number of new jobs fell. That's the first drop in more than 2 years. Labor Secretary Robert Reich says that while he wasn't pleased with the report, he doesn't see any evidence that the U.S. is heading toward a recession.
The numbers are disappointing. I am concerned by them. There's no reason for despair. There's no reason for panic, obviously. It does signal, it seems to signal, a slowdown in the rate of economic growth, a slowdown in the jobs expansion.
That jobs report now has investors worried that the economy might be slowing too much, and they're concerned about what that might do to corporate profits. The Dow Industrials dropped 16 points on Friday to 43.43. 2 stocks to watch today, Hughes Aircraft and McDonnell Douglas. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that the 2 companies plan to develop a new rocket through a contract that could be valued at more than $1 billion. And that's a quick look at business news this morning. Back to you, Tom.
And how about what's ahead on the economic front this week, Susie?
It's going to be another busy week of economic numbers, Tom. Tomorrow we're going to get the numbers on first quarter productivity, wholesale trade, and also the latest read on retail sales from the Johnson Red Book. Then the Federal Reserve will release its Beige Book. That's a regional survey of economic conditions. That's going to come out on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, the latest number on inflation on the wholesale level, the Producer Price Index. Also, we're going to get retail sales for April. And on Friday, the second part of that inflation report is the Consumer Price Index, and that's going to tell us how much inflation there is on the retail level. So everybody's going to be looking to see, is the economy really slowing down, and might the Federal Reserve reduce interest rates? We should get some better ideas by the end of the week.
All right, a busy week indeed. Thank you, Susie. CNBC's Susie Guerra with our business news this morning. Tom?
Well, it's time for our nightside shot of the day. Lasting images from 50 years ago today, VE Day, victory in Europe in World War II, when the killing stopped and the celebrations began as the Germans surrendered.
Chocolate Ovaltine versus Nestle Quick.
This is Ovaltine. This tastes good. This tastes like Nestle's. I love the taste of Ovaltine.
Rich Chocolate Ovaltine is a different kind of Ovaltine, and its great taste will surprise you.
I like Ovaltine. It's really, really good. Knowing that they have all of the nutrients in it, which makes you as a parent feel really good, but it's still that same good taste of chocolate.
Rich Chocolate Ovaltine.
When I dropped off the casserole for Ed's funeral, Betty told me how tight things were.
Did Ned have life insurance?
Not enough. She told me his funeral alone could cost over $6,000.
That is exactly why it was so important we got that extra life insurance. I wanted to be sure you were taken care of if something happened to me.
If you're between the ages of 45 and 75, the Mutual of Omaha companies have a guaranteed life insurance plan that fits you perfectly. It costs less than $1 a day, and it's guaranteed in 5 ways. You can't be turned down. There are no health questions. You don't even have to take a physical. Your benefits will never decrease, your payments will never increase, and it can't be canceled, ever. Call this toll-free number for free information. Review it in the privacy of your own home. There's no risk or obligation. Call today for your enrollment packet. 1-800-659-5511. That's 1-800-659-5511.
Success, no matter how you define it, the ideas that can help you achieve it are in the Wall Street Journal. For you, success might be more business than you've ever dreamed of. There's one source you can count on to help you reach it, the Wall Street Journal. Call now for the Journal and get your free guide to planning your financial future. Facts you need to start planning a secure future right now. Get 10 weeks of the Wall Street Journal for just $38 and get the guide free. Call now toll-free, 800-233-7700. That's 800-233-7700.
They're grandmothers and grandfathers. They're homemakers and hobbyists. They are probably the least likely criminals you'll ever meet. But if you believe some accounts, they steal more than $500 million a year from you, the consumer. And they do it with scissors and stamps and those little forms you pick up at the supermarket for free. You may not think this is a serious crime, but as Dateline's Chris Hansen tells us, the government does.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
They're innocent looking, and they're everywhere.
I just enjoyed doing it. It was relaxing.
Companies use them to entice shoppers to try their products.
It was fun to get money in the mail. They also gave you free coupons and prizes. So it became addictive.
So addictive to a lot of people that they break the law.
We're probably looking at in excess of 100,000 individuals involved in this.
Involved in rebate fraud.
As a lawman, as a federal agent, have you ever seen anything, a fraud this big, this pervasive?
This is probably as pervasive I've seen in my 22 years in law enforcement. I think it well exceeds $500 million a year annually. And we pay for that. The consumer pays for that. This is passed along to consumers.
You can see they've been buying all toys. These are no big-time criminals. These are the ladies next door, our grandmothers.
What we're talking about are these. Get a form, buy a product, mail in a receipt with proof of purchase, rebates. They're designed to get you to sample a new cereal or salad dressing. The rebate money or prize is one per customer. But some customers, even some non-customers, get greedy. They want more than one rebate, maybe 100 rebates.
They realized, geez, if I just use another address or change my name, I can get more money. But what they're doing is violating mail fraud, violating a criminal statute.
As soon as they use the mails to send in false rebate claims, they're committing mail fraud, a fraud that Postal Inspector Rick Bowdren says isn't very complicated.
Chris, all you need is a cash register. Go down to your supermarket and pick up the rebate forms and mail them in. And that's what they're doing.
Hold it a second. Your own cash register? How many people could possibly have their own cash register?
They said I was illegal by having a cash register. Every rebater has a cash register.
That's Toots Bridge. Toots was part of a rebating club. To really rebate, you need numbers and 3 things. Forms from the supermarket, cash register receipts, which are easy if you have your own cash register, and those little bar-shaped thingamabobs called Universal Product Codes, UPCs to the pros. Where do you get those UPCs? Ask George. That's Mr. Bridge.
They'd go to these dumpsters behind the garages in town. And you know those big dumpsters they got? Well,
One of her friends.
Don't do that.
One of her friends fell into the dumpsters. She had one heck of a time to get her out.
I never thought it was wrong because I called companies and they said I could rebate. They said it was legal as long as I had the UPCs and sent them in.
At first, it was small and get bigger and bigger. It was a hobby. She got addicted to it.
Toots's addiction earned her a grand jury indictment, a plea bargain, and federal probation. Because in the 3 years before postal inspectors caught up with her, Toots had milked $34,000 from America's largest companies.
How could that happen? I mean, these are not stupid people. They're running huge corporations.
They largely believe consumers are honest. And most of the people are honest, I would say. I think most of these consumers started out by trying to save money. Then they found out how quickly they could make money.
Is there a hesitancy to go after some of these people because essentially they're housewives and grandmothers?
Maybe they don't realize what they're doing is wrong. Failure to stop, they're going to be facing almost definite opportunity of being arrested.
Rebate scammers who get caught are usually tripped up by fulfillment houses, agencies hired by manufacturers to process rebate mail. Trained screeners look for phony proofs of purchases and fake cash register receipts, as well as rebaters who violate the one per household rule.
I think maybe we better check into that, Peggy. She's telling me there's an awful lot of large orders, just to be safe.
Denny Sepchek likes to call himself the Dick Tracy of rebate fraud.
Let's see what's wrong with this picture. This person is trying to tell us that she purchased 1,800 pieces of this particular product, and 1,800 pieces of that product last week and the week before and the week before.
Sepchek says rebate magazines like these are part of the problem. He says they help people defraud the system.
I respond to ads in these magazines, these refund magazines, using an alias name, and I have several different P.O. boxes in several parts of the country. For one reason, it gives me intelligence.
Intelligence into the trade in UPCs and phony receipts. Most of the publishers of these magazines wouldn't talk to us, but Michelle Easter, who publishes Refunding Makes Sense, one of the biggest rebate magazines, did. She says she tells her 20,000 subscribers to follow her example and play by the rules.
I read the fine print. I comply with the fine print. I don't make up fake cash register tapes. I don't have multiple post boxes. And I feel I am doing it legitimately.
Here's what we found in Easter's ads. Offers to sell forms and UPCs.
Do you think that there are people out there who use the information in your magazine to commit rebate fraud?
There may be trading that goes on through the ad section that I'm not totally aware of, that people do just on their own, but I cannot police that. There's no way for me to control that.
If it's hard to control what happens in the ads, it's more difficult to control the hundreds of rebate swap meets and coupon conventions that take place across the country about every week. Often they're just places for rebaters to meet and find that missing coupon or that one proof of purchase for their single rebate. But other rebaters swap a lot more to beat the rebate system, according to this investigator.
When I went in there, I told them, I was just starting out, and they said, sooner or later it's going to get to be a full-time thing. You're constantly doing it. It's like an addiction. You're constantly not taking one form. You're taking pads and pads, and it gets to be a full-time obsession with them. They're constantly doing it.
We went in with our camera crew to take a look.
Hi, how are you? Ladies, I'm Chris Hansen. I'm a correspondent with NBC News, and we're doing a story on rebating, and I'm wondering if I couldn't ask you a couple questions.
Almost immediately, they started packing up.
Can you make a lot of money doing it? Is it worthwhile? Why do it then?
Well, you make a little extra spending money.
Yeah.
But it's not like you're making a lot of money. That's ridiculous.
Swapping rebate materials doesn't break the law, but the other ladies didn't want to talk. They packed up and left.
I have to tell you that I felt a little bad walking in with a camera rolling on a bunch of little old ladies trading rebate certificates.
These are misguided ladies, and they're the same as anybody else. If they commit a crime, you have to deal with it accordingly.
Bowdron has dealt with Ellen Biles. Ellen once lived in this comfortable home in an Atlanta suburb. Now, she lives at this federal prison camp in Bryan, Texas.
I shouldn't be here.
We're talking about a situation here where you had aliases, You were getting rebates sent to you, Ellen Biles, Helen Biles, Aline Biles, post office boxes.
I still feel like it was a legal business. I wasn't doing anything wrong.
Ellen Biles turned rebating into a cottage industry. She worked 17 hours a day, published a magazine, sold rebate forms, had a staff of 8, and according to postal authorities, made $700,000 in a little over 2 years, defrauding Ralston Purina, Procter & Gamble, and Gillette, among others. Did you think that you were skirting the company rules, but that was okay?
Yes. I was helping many people, get the coupons and rebates that they needed. Your grandmother could have easily been one of my customers.
According to federal authorities, Ellen Biles violated the one per household rule on a rebate for a Share fitness video, among other things.
Can I hyperextend mine?
For 2 rebates worth $10, Ellen was convicted of 2 counts of mail fraud.
Everyone does it, but no one thinks you can go to prison for it.
She knows it now. Ellen Biles is serving 21 months. She's appealing her sentence. How many other Ellen Biles are out there?
I don't think we're going to find as many Ellen Biles as we will find more the traditional $20,000, $30,000. Chris, it's not uncommon for the people we've found so far to receive $100 a day in the mail.
Is there any doubt in your mind that Ellen Biles got exactly what she deserved?
I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think you can talk to the manufacturers.
But when we tried to get companies who offer rebates to talk about fraud on camera, they wouldn't. So we went to Pierce Palouse of the Promotional Manufacturer Association of America. Why do you think no specific manufacturer would agree to talk about this problem publicly?
I think it gets back mostly to their sensitivity about relationships with consumers. There are some that are really fraudulently pursuing rebates. Others may, because of bad information being given to them on the offer as it's being offered, may unwittingly be violating laws.
What do you say to the room full of little old ladies and housewives who are actually committing fraud by buying, selling, and fraudulently turning in these rebate coupons?
We would say that it should stop, that it is a violation of law, and it has bad consequences if you continue to persist.
For those who do persist in rebate fraud, federal authorities have initiated a plan, a warning letter, then a warrant, and finally, an arrest. As for Ellen Biles, the woman postal inspectors call the biggest fraudulent rebater of all times, she's lost her business, her home, and her bank accounts.
I lost everything I had and jail time, and it's definitely 2 punishments for one so-called crime.
What are you going to do when you get out of here?
I'm going to rejoin my husband and start a whole new life, completely away from the rebate world.
Dateline's Chris Hansen reporting. Postal inspectors say there are now rebate fraud investigations underway in most major cities. Now, we don't want to leave you with the impression that only women are engaged in this kind of fraud. Men are also involved. A man in North Carolina was recently convicted on charges of rebate fraud, and he was sentenced to 22 months in prison.
All right, let's get another check on the weather forecast around the country as we watch cyclists from 50 countries take part in the Great 5-Borough Bike Tour in New York City.
Before you call this toll-free number, spend a minute with Ed McMahon.
I've been telling you about Colonial Penn Life Insurance for almost 10 years. I'm proud of that because I don't think you can find a company that cares more about folks over 50, especially those who want help in taking care of their own final expenses. They're determined to keep life insurance affordable and your acceptance guaranteed. Because of a 2-year limited benefit period, you simply cannot be turned down. They offer simple whole life insurance protection, priced in units at $6.95 a month. Many folks 50 and over don't think they can get life insurance without taking a medical exam or answering embarrassing health questions. But that's just not true. In fact, this company not only guarantees your acceptance, it guarantees your coverage can never be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. And it guarantees your benefit will never decrease simply because you grow older. That's the kind of lifelong commitment you can count on. Does any other company offer you more than this? First, there's guaranteed acceptance and affordable premiums that never increase. Add to that benefits that never reduce because of your age, plus coverage that cannot be canceled and cash values you can borrow against. You'd be hard-pressed to find a company that offers you more. That's why I urge you to call this toll-free number now. They will send you a free information package with no risk or obligation. And you'll also receive a free gift just for calling.
Call toll-free 1-800-553-1700 to receive free information and a free gift in the mail. Dial 1-800-553-1700. The call is free, and so is this handy guide to Social Security. Call now, 1-800-553-1700. There's no risk or obligation. That number again, 1-800-553-1700.
Kurt Gregory joins us again with sports, another high-scoring baseball game in the Mile High City.
New ballpark, it's bigger, but as we were talking yesterday, the baseball actually flies 11% further in Denver than any other, altitude, and you'll see it in a minute here. 22 more runs on the scoreboard in Denver on Sunday as the Dodgers down the Rockies in yet another slugfest. Dodgers starter Hideo Nomo got rocked in his second Major League start. 7 runs, 9 hits in less than 5 innings. His opposing pitcher, Billy Swift, rips a 3-run homer in the second. It was for the Rockies. Third inning, here's a good sign for the Dodgers. Mike Piazza goes deep with all the ducks on the pond. Piazza's grand slam makes it 4-4. 8th inning, tied at 10. Piazza rips his second dinger of the day. This is a solo shot. Dodgers win it 12-10. American League, the Milwaukee Brewers are off to their best start since 1987. The Brew Crew 8-3 after winning at New York once again on Sunday. Most everything went right for the Brewers with a couple of exceptions, like this fly ball to right field that Matt Mieske misjudges and flat out drops. 8th inning, the big blow. Kevin Seitzer, a grand slam home run off of John Patterson. The Brewers win big at 9-1, and we'll have all the scores in just a moment. In golf, Bob Murphy picked up a 2-shot victory at the PGA Senior Payne Weber Invitational. The PGA Tour in Atlanta for the Bell South Classic. This had to be the shot of the day, maybe of the year. John Daly drives the 335-yard par 4 14th, and watch, almost holes out his mammoth tee shot for what would have been a double eagle. Now, Daly finished 6 shots behind Mark Calcavecchia, who picked up his first victory in 3 years. Calcavecchia, the winner at 17 under, 2 shots better than Jim Gallagher. Dale Earnhardt, your NASCAR winner on Sunday. Now the rest of the scores.
Success. No matter how you define it, the information and ideas that can help you achieve it are here in the Wall Street Journal. For you, success might be more business than you've ever dreamed of, or seeing your kids through college. There are many ways to define success, but there's one source you can count on to help you reach it: the Wall Street Journal. The Journal is news that really matters to you, information that brings you a whole new perspective, ideas that can move you closer to your goals, whatever they are. Success? It could be your career, reaching new heights. Call now for the Wall Street Journal and get your free guide to planning your financial future. Over 170 pages of facts, figures, and information you need to start planning a secure future right now. Get 10 weeks of the Wall Street Journal for just $38 and get the guide free. Call now toll-free, 800-572-6500. That's 800-572-6500.
Lakeside Adventures Relaxation Center, your one-stop leisure shop for hard-to-find outdoor products. Order this $10 convenient shopping package today by check, Visa, Discover, or MasterCard. Call Lakeside Adventures now, 1-800-200-5660.
My 6-month-old had a
red irritated diaper rash.
Now your baby can get relief from diaper rash with Baby Gold Bond medicated powder.
I bought Baby Gold Bond powder, and I applied it to the rash, and it worked. It helped clear the rash.
Baby Gold Bond's dual-action formula relieves and soothes diaper rash with a medically proven ingredient and absorbs moisture. Used every day, it helps prevent diaper rash.
I like Baby Gold Bond because it's medicated. It's great. I use it all the time.
Use Baby Gold Bond medicated powder every day.
Lakeside Adventures Relaxation Center, your one-stop leisure shop for hard-to-find outdoor products. Order this $10 convenient shopping package today by check, Visa, Discover, or MasterCard. Call Lakeside Adventures now, 1-800-200-5660.
You're watching News Channel 5, where the news comes first.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Tim Lampley. A major change in direction in the investigation into the murder of a Washington University student. Friday night, 22-year-old Melissa Apman's body was discovered in East St. Louis. Her friend was found dazed walking in nearby Washington Park, shot 3 times in the face. Police originally said the crime started at an Olivet Mexican restaurant. They now say the 2 women were abducted from Chewy's restaurant in Dogtown. Tens of thousands of people took to the streets in Paris to celebrate the presidential victory of conservative Jacques Chirac. The mayor of Paris won the presidency in a runoff, ending 14 years of socialist rule. And in sports, Shaquille O'Neal and the Orlando Magic took Game 1 yesterday in the Eastern Conference semifinals against Michael Jordan and the Bulls. The final score was 94-91. We'll have more news in 1 hour, but first, Scott Connell with the weather update.
Well, a major storm system is indeed pulling our way, and as we head through the overnight hours and on into Monday afternoon, we are going to see waves of showers and thunderstorms slide across the region. A cold front will be knocking on the doorsteps by late in the day, so it will start to taper off as we head into Monday night. But quite a wide area of shower activity back over the northern and central Rockies, and then heavier rain and stronger thunderstorms as we head down into our area and on down towards Texas and Louisiana. Now, for the most part, it will stay relatively warm as temperatures will stay in the 70s and the 80s. Cool weather up into the northeast. There'll be some snowflakes flying around Maine, and along the west coast, temperatures will be in the 60s as well. We're going to see periods of showers and thunderstorms often on Monday. Some heavy rain is certainly possible. In fact, we may end up with well over an inch of rainfall. Temperatures in the mid-70s. All of that tapers down to just scattered showers around on Tuesday with variably cloudy skies. Wednesday, the clouds will start to dissipate late in the day, and then Thursday into Friday, we warm up and another chance for showers Friday afternoon.
For the best value in today's auto market, get with the program. Program and executive-driven Ford cars, Ford in Marissa, Illinois. You'll find the largest inventory of low and no mileage used cars in the Midwest. 92 to 95 F-150 4x4s from $15,995. 94 Explorer Limiteds from $24,995. 93 to 95 Aerosport wagons from $99,995. Hundreds of program and executive-driven cars and trucks just 40 minutes from the popular street in J.B. Bridges. Reese Ford, Route 4 in Marissa, Illinois. 1-800-998-7823.
The electrifying bestseller that's thrilled millions across the nation is now coming to NBC.
There's nothing here to kill every human being on the planet.
A mysterious virus.
No one seems to have any idea where it came from.
Spreading across the nation.
This case is a damn outbreak.
One doctor risks her life to save millions.
We've got to get these people into isolation immediately.
Our hospitals are closing down. A motion picture thriller that reunites Nicolette Sheridan and William Devane.
I could be contaminated.
Robin Cook's Virus, tonight on NBC.
The spirit of the Olympics burns brightly in people of all ages. Hi, I'm Mike Bush. Join News Channel 5 May 28th through May 31st and experience the thrill of the St. Louis Senior Olympics. Men and women 55 years and older can register now to participate in the competition. From running and swimming to volleyball and the javelin, there's an event you can excel in. Call to register at 432-5705 and catch the spirit of the St. Louis Senior Olympics.
Remember this?
Your Honor, you can't be here.
Now, Marcia Clark's ex-husband tells Inside Edition.
It was my night to be with the children.
The prosecutor accused of neglecting her kids by the ex who wants to take them in.
A father isn't a guy who comes by on the weekends.
Clark versus Clark. Plus, look who's coming to win at a place called Churchill Downs. The show? Inside Edition, of course.
Inside Edition, weekdays at 3, only on Channel 5.
Good morning and welcome to NBC Nightside. I'm Tom Donovan.
And I'm Tom Miller. In the news this morning, powerful tornadoes hit Oklahoma and Texas, raising the death toll in a series of storms that began Friday.
Also, President Clinton goes to Moscow to celebrate the German surrender in World War II and to meet with Russian President Boris Yeltsin.
And Cuban Americans protest President Clinton's new policy of returning boat people to Cuba. But we begin with the storms in Oklahoma. Tom?
Tom, they're still surveying the damage in southern Oklahoma after tornadoes ripped through the town of Ardmore. The twisters in Oklahoma have claimed at least 3 lives.
It's totally destroyed the funeral plant. Totally destroyed.
A television photographer captured these pictures as a twister struck in the town about 100 miles south of Oklahoma City. At least 5 tornadoes touched down, causing severe damage. Reporter Tara Bloom this morning from the community of Rolling Hills, which sustained a lot of damage but no loss of life.
It's as though the tornado took at least a chunk out of every home in the Southern Hills addition. For the Seiperts, the twister took a lot more than just a chunk. They're relieved they listened to the sirens and headed for a nearby school cellar.
Yeah, we always go when they blow the sirens. We've gone they've blown them 4 times probably the last month, and we've gone all 4 times. And this time, the past 4 times, nothing ever happened, but this time something did. The window in this room right here went out, and it blew the door off the hinges.
This door just came blown off the hinges. Wow.
Just trying to get as much stuff out of it as we can. Mainly, we're trying to get this car, for one thing.
Yeah. Church friends of Les Bugby descended on his house to help him unearth his cherished 72 Charger and salvage whatever else they could before the next downpour let loose.
I'm the DA here, and I was out, and I got here and found it, and I called them and mobilized the church to get out here and help them to try to get to safety, shelter.
For the freight train, that was it.
Everyone is still amazed there were no injuries here. But many people, like Carol Ricketts, who rode out the storm with her 2 kids in her utility room, says next time she's going to get somewhere safer.
It's unbelievable.
Severe hail and thunderstorms began Friday, killing 18 people in Texas. Most of them drowned in flash floods last night near Amarillo. A powerful tornado touched down 3 times within 8 miles. One man was killed when a twister picked him up off his front porch and tossed him 130 feet.
President Clinton will lay a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknowns at Arlington National Cemetery this morning to mark the 50th anniversary of VE Day. He then heads for Russia for more anniversary events and a summit with Russian President Boris Yeltsin. On the eve of his trip, he told a pro-Israeli group that Russia would endanger its own security by selling nuclear reactors to Iran. It's just one of several issues Mr. Clinton will discuss with Yeltsin. NBC's Amy Roth has more.
On June 22, 1941, Germany attacked the Soviet Union without warning. By November, the Germans reached the gates of Moscow. It became known here as the Great Patriotic War. And when it was over in 1945, some 20 million were dead.
It is Russia's great loss that is bringing Bill Clinton to Moscow. And after Victory Day celebrations are over, Clinton and Russian President Boris Yeltsin will get down to business. They'll discuss Russia's likely plans to sell nuclear reactors to Iran, the future of NATO, and Chechnya.
The war in Chechnya has made some foreign leaders uneasy about attending next week's ceremonies, including Bill Clinton. Though the war continues, Clinton is coming to Moscow, and most Americans approve.
I don't see it as an endorsement of Chechnya. It's more in commemoration of what happened in World War II and acknowledging all that Russia went through.
On May 9th, nearly 50 world leaders will recognize Russia's contribution to World War II, and Moscow is preparing. Finishing touches are being made to a statue that will stand guard to the city's war memorial. At night, troops have been practicing their parade route, tying and eating up Moscow streets. And thousands of veterans have come together to practice marching again to tunes of victory from 50 years ago. For them and the world, a day to remember for so many who lost so much. Amy Roth, NBC News, Moscow.
Well, there was tragedy during preparations for the VE Day celebrations in Moscow. A 79-year-old American Army veteran died when his parachute failed to open. He was practicing for a commemorative jump to mark the 50th anniversary of the end of World War II in Europe. Ronald Duff of Fort Myers, Florida, was a member of the 82nd Airborne Division. He had successfully participated in a jump during the Normandy commemoration last year.
Victory in Europe celebrations continue today. In Paris, this morning ceremonies are underway. More than 60 world leaders have gathered at the Arc de Triomphe. And on Sunday in London, it was a day of celebration and prayer in London's Hyde Park. Queen Elizabeth hosted the pageant of music and dancing. Heads of state made a symbolic vow of peace as they signed olive leaves and released doves and balloons. In Berlin Sunday, violence erupted at a large peace rally commemorating the end of World War II. A number of demonstrators and police were injured as fights broke out. Police in riot gear stormed the crowd, trying to take down banners of the banned Kurdistan Workers' Party.
More violence rocks Sarajevo, leaving more dead. Authorities are reporting that Serb forces shelled a Sarajevo suburb, killing as many as 10 and injuring 15. The shells hit near a tunnel used for transporting vital military and civilian supplies into the besieged capital. Bosnia's Serbs deny responsibility for the attack. The shelling was the worst attack on Sarajevo since a 4-month truce expired 1 week ago. Violence marred today's elections in the Philippines. At least 18 people were killed. Millions of Filipinos turned out Monday for congressional and local elections. Those running for office include the widow and son of the late President Ferdinand Marcos. Authorities are reporting numerous grenade attacks, beatings, and ballot box thefts. The dead include 4 candidates, 2 for mayor and 2 for town council. And the third time was apparently the charm for Jacques Chirac. The mayor of Paris has won France's presidential race. Chirac faced Lionel Jospin in a runoff election. The win marks a new beginning for conservatives. They now have their first chance since 1981 to exercise full control over foreign and domestic policy. Chirac replaces President Francois Mitterrand, who ends a 14-year presidency.
As a weekend of memorial services drew to a close Sunday in Oklahoma City, the FBI continued its hunt for bombing suspects, while congressional leaders discussed what limits the government should place on extremist groups. Here's more from Nightside's Jim Hanchett.
I don't really think there is. Not any sane man would think of doing something like this.
With the memorial services for victims and rescue workers over and the police barricades all but eliminated, Sunday in Oklahoma City was a day to come downtown and see for yourself.
To see it for us grown-ups sort of helps you to accept it, and I think it's sort of answering their questions because they've had lots of questions about it. And
it's not easy to explain to them, is it?
No.
Even on a rainy, dreary day, people from miles around came to look at the blast site where 164 people died. 2 women are still missing.
It's just something you just got to see with your own eyes to believe. You don't believe it until you see it.
The building is also the spark of a battle shaping up in Congress over the government's right to investigate the militia groups that have loosely been tied to the bombing. On NBC's Meet the Press, House Speaker Newt Gingrich.
It may be emotionally satisfying to run around and find new groups to get mad at, but I think the message ought to be much narrower. We are opposed to violence. We condemn violence.
The FBI, meanwhile, is continuing its hunt for unidentified suspect John Doe number 2. Despite dozens of sightings here in Oklahoma City and across the continent, he is still at large. And the FBI has had no public comment on the case for nearly a week. And in a region where religion runs deep, this third Sunday since the terrorist attack was a day to remember that the bomb tore the building apart, but brought the city together.
I've seen a difference in the lives of people helping people.
People have come together.
People have came together.
In the week to come, officials will begin to make decisions on what to do next with what's left here. But on this Sunday, left here are mostly flowers. Jim Hanchett, NBC News, Oklahoma City.
Cuban Americans staged a demonstration Sunday against U.S. policy on Cuban refugees. They took to the streets to protest the Clinton administration's decision to start returning Cubans to their homeland. That decision reverses a 35-year-old policy of accepting the Cuban rafters. More now from reporter Nick Bogert.
Time and again, protesters bolted the barricades and blocked roadways, but police did not come down hard.
Let them down. He's already done. Let them down.
Policy is facilitate, not confrontational, let them vent their frustrations.
So, when barricades and the front line of officers failed to contain this man, who's dived to the street nearly knocking over a policeman, he was not arrested. He got a friendly talking to rather than a set of handcuffs. This was a sit-down protest with ground rules.
The police agreed not to remove the demonstrators. The demonstrators agreed to limit their time on the pavement to 15 minutes.
Civil disobedience is the only thing that is left for us because the world doesn't listen.
Civil disobedience will take place in many other forms and other places.
Some hope the protest will change the Clinton policy returning rafters to Cuba. Others have given up on this administration and hope Congress or the courts will intervene. Eduardo Gelabert protested with special enthusiasm, saying his cousin Cesar and Ulises Bale are among the 13 rafters headed back to Cuba. And Eduardo fears back to big trouble.
They were already in prison 4 times for trying to leave, and they were told the 5th time